right, got a new animal we're gonna get done today. It's an Arizona antelope here. I got it soaking in the water. I got it last night. It had been frozen for the previous 3 or 4 years. So we're gonna trying to get it all thawed out so I can take care of it this morning. I'm also gonna talk a little fast right now because I know that I tend to carry on every single time I sit in front of the camera, and I apologize for that. This is an elk from another video. Ended up getting the antelope same time I was soaking this, trying to get some oil and color out of that skull. And I got a cow elk as well that's going to be part of that video. So we're going to just get started. I'm going to pull this out of the soak, change the camera around, not that you care about that, and get the hide off, get that lower jaw off. And I've already got some water heating up right now, so I can just throw it right into some hot water, and we'll get this thing taken care of pretty quick. And I gotta tell you, it came in at 6:45 last night, and it's about 6:30 this morning. And there's something about getting up and doing this early in this fresh morning air that just makes me sick. All right, I figured I'd save you a lot of the de-skinning process and just give you the best here. So here you go. Man, I love that sound. Alright, we got this guy all good and thawed up. He's ready to go. Again, I was able to get the lower jaw off while it was still semi-frozen. Now it's a little bit wet, but that's not a big deal at all. What's nice on these though is you don't have to worry as much as you do on getting antlered deer about getting all that fur off, and I'll show you why. You want to get close to it, but don't have to worry about it getting perfect. So we're just going to take this hide off, going to get it in the boil. First, what you do before you get these horns off here is you just boil regular water, no OxyClean, no nothing else. So I've got that on the burner right now while I'm doing this. It gets good and hot, and then we'll throw it in there. So rule number 1 is still to get as much meat and tissue off there as we can. So we're going to clean it up nice and good here. Here's what we're looking like right now. You can tell, most of that hair actually is just from being cut off. That's just gonna fall right off. Not a big deal. But I didn't get all that up there, and the reason why is that this is kind of connected to the horn here. Oops, sorry. Kind of connected to the horn here, and so I don't want to do anything to the horn, ruin it, cut a slice of it off, or anything like that. So you want to just be careful around the base there. But that's good enough, and then I'm just going to put it into this pot right now. See, I got most of the meat off of there. Most of the meat off of there. I'm going to put it into that pot, boil it up for a few minutes, and then pull those horns off. Alright, we're going to have a tale of two horns here. You'll see number 1 comes off nice and easy. This was starting at the beginning of trying to get it off. You'll notice on the horn that's left on the skull, there's still some membrane and hair left on it. But it came off nice and clean. That's how it's supposed to happen. This one, it comes off and the horn's naked. It took all the membrane and hair with it, which is why it was so tough to get off. But key number 1 when taking these off is twist your hands a little bit. And I'm trying here, but normally you twist it and it'll pop right off just like the first one did. Clearly, this needed to boil a few minutes longer. In case you didn't know it, this is what a hornless antelope looks like. Got part of the bone in there. It makes it a lot easier. Just make yourself a little extra space. Saw this off. You have a sawzall. That's the easiest way to do it. I just got a little hand saw here, but you'll still make pretty quick work of Alright, once you saw these devil horns off of this bad boy, throw it back into the pot and then add some OxyClean. You're going to do your normal skull boil. Do it until the skin on top starts to split and peel away. But while that's happening, you might as well just take those horns and power wash those off. And you want to power wash it inside and out. There's stuff on the inside that if you don't power wash it out or scrape it out, which is what I had to do for that horn number 2, was scrape all that out because it stayed in, it's going to stink. That's tissue that needs to come out. Get it nice and clean, and this will also help you just get that really crisp, clean, finished look. Get the mud and dirt off of there. Get it looking nice. The timing also ends up being pretty perfect most of the time. As far as when you're done power washing these horns, it's usually about time to start on the skull. And the rules are the same here. Every hole, every orifice, every nook, every cranny, any small tiny place that could hold some tissue, make sure you point your power washer down there and spray it out, because even the tiniest amount of tissue is going to stink if you don't get it out. And neither your wife, if it's at your house, or your client's wife, if it's going somewhere else, is going to like you very much at all. Speaking of things that'll stink up the place if you don't get it out, is these earbuds. Just stick a small flathead screwdriver into each hole, pop those out, and you could take some forceps and pull the rest of that tissue out of those canals. Do that, and then after I take some forceps and get a little bit other matter off of this skull, take a little power drill and drill out with a 5/8 inch wafer bit a little canal right where you popped those out of. Drill a little hole into the brain canal, or brain cavity, sorry. And that's gonna, I think, number one, look nicer, but then also makes it a lot easier to clean out all of that brain tissue. When it comes time to power wash again, comes out a lot easier. Instead of just one big drain hole, then you got 3 of them. All right, once that's done, then it's pretty much smooth sailing from there. You put it back into the boil with the developer. All you do is you bring that to a boil and then turn it off. And it's time to rinse it off with the power washer. And then once that dries for 24 hours, then put the mopping glue on it. I just put a nice healthy coat on there, nice and thick. Let that dry, and then it's on to the next step. And here's the next step. What you want to do, again, after the mop and glow dries on everything, and again I mop and glowed the horns and the skull, take a 2-part JB Weld system and just follow the instructions. It's real easy. You do equal parts A and B, mix them together, and then I wait a couple minutes, let it harden up a little bit. I put a good amount on the inside of the horns, so I know I got a decent amount in there. It's going to be touching, it's going to set up, holding both of the sides together, the horn and the skull. Put that on there. I put a light layer on the actual skull where I'm going to slide that horn onto, and then you just slide it on. What you want to be careful of is just make sure that nothing's going to drip out, because if it does and it hardens up, you're in bad shape and it's going to be real tough or impossible to get off. So keep an eye on that. Finished up this Antelope Euro mount and just loved the way it looked. It's sitting in the freezer for 3 years, didn't affect how easy it whitened up, cleaned up. That all was fantastic. The only thing it did do is it dried a little bit on the top. And so you just, I don't even know how to describe it, but it just had to peel it off, and it was making a very sticky noise as I would peel it, just like a, and that should be the sound effect, because that was very accurate. But it turned out fantastic. I love it. Obviously, again, there's a few differences with antelope doing them compared to deer. You do mop and glow the horns and take them off, so there's a big difference there. You do mop and glow these horns, and it just gives it a great look and feel to it, and doesn't get rid of any of that character, the feel that you're looking for when you do grab an antelope horn. So love it. Love the way it turned out. I'm gonna get this to the guy in a day or two when he gets back in town. I can't wait to see him take a look at it after 3 years. Finally has a good trophy. So, thank you again for watching. Any questions or comments, send them down below. I'll get to them as quick as I can. Much appreciated, and happy hunting out there.